Kids today talk about having the sauce. That means that they're cool, or something, I think. Well, to me, there's only one kind of sauce. It's got meatballs, sausage, and it goes great with pasta. To the kitchen. Of course, you could go meatless if you like, but I am making meatballs today, and I'm going with turkey. You could go with the classic beef and pork, but this is a pound of turkey, 2 heaping tablespoons of chopped garlic, Italian breadcrumbs, about 1/3 of a cup to get us started. We'll add in a little bit more later, but 1/3 of a cup is enough to get us going. A fat tablespoon of Italian herbs, completely optional, but I had some extra on hand, so I went with it. For the cheese, I'm using the good stuff today. This is a nice block of Parmesan cheese, going to grate in about 1/3 of a cup. Adds a nice saltiness and of course the cheesiness as well. About 2 tablespoons of some good quality olive oil, 2 eggs that I gave a light beat to just to bind everything together, and then I'm going to season it with lots and lots of black pepper and just a little bit of salt. Don't go crazy with the salt, obviously, because the Parmesan cheese adds a nice saltiness as well. Now we can get in there and start mixing. You don't want to overmix, just enough until it comes together. If it's too wet like this, I just added a little bit more breadcrumbs and cheese, about a tablespoon of each, and then it comes together perfectly. Now I'll get a little bit of water on my finger, and that will just help me to kind of roll these balls perfectly. You could use an ice cream scoop or a spoon, whatever you want to get like the perfect size balls. For me, I just kind of keep it close and just roll them till I get this shape. They don't have to be perfect, but obviously they want to be similar size. I will put these on some parchment, get these boys ready for searing, which we will do in a nice big pot over medium-high heat. I'll add in a few tablespoons of olive oil, and then I'll add these in one by one. You don't want to overcrowd these, definitely give them some space. I'm doing these in 2 batches to sear them off. We're not cooking them through, we just want to get a nice sear on the crust to really give it, obviously, a nice crust on the outside, but also sear in the juices. Only a few minutes on each side. Again, we're not cooking them through, we're just getting that really nice sear. Once you have them kind of golden brown, you can remove them, get rid of any excess oil. With just a little bit of oil in the pan, I'm going to slip in the old sausage. These are chicken sausage. You could use whatever you like. Again, you don't have to use meat at all, but these are going to add tremendous flavor. Just get a quick sear on these, and once they are golden brown, we'll remove these as well. There's tons of flavor in this pot already, but we'll get a little bit of fresh oil in there. 1/4 of a diced onion, 2 heaping tablespoons of chopped garlic. We're just going to let this cook down slowly over medium heat just to release all those natural flavors. Season with salt and pepper. Once it looks like this, we're going to get in our tomatoes. I am adding 2 1-quart cans of crushed tomatoes. Definitely spend the extra buck on the good stuff. The natural sweetness will make a huge difference in your sauce. A bunch of chopped sweet basil, season with plenty of salt and black pepper. Give this the first of many stirs to come. Bring this up to a nice gentle simmer. We never want to let it boil, just a nice gentle slow simmer for as long as we possibly can. And if you remember our meat, here it is, our meatballs and our sausage. I cut the sausage into thirds just so it would be closer in size to the meatballs. You could leave them whole, you could cut them small, you could do whatever you want. Let's get these thrown into their tomato sauce, all the juices and all. Give this a good stir to get everything well incorporated, and there you have it. So easy and so simple. Like most Italian cooking, keep it simple, use really high quality ingredients, and you're going to end up with a great sauce. If you call it gravy, that's cool. To me, this is gravy and this is sauce, but to each their own. The only thing I didn't show was that I added about a tablespoon of oregano because I have an oregano obsession, and then we're just going to cover this and let it go for as long as you possibly can. I would recommend at least a half hour to an hour. This one I went about 2.5 hours. You could go as long as 4, 5, 6 hours. You could let it sit all morning if you'd like. It just thickens up so nicely and gets such a nice, well-rounded, developed flavor. Obviously, you want to keep stirring this throughout while you're letting it simmer. Here you can see our meatballs are nice and juicy, completely covered in sauce. Oh look, a sausage and meatball combo. Now, of course, you're going to have to taste this to know if it needs any kind of seasoning, but there's really only one way to taste test this, and it's a very scientific method. Of course, the only true way to test this is to grab a nice crusty piece of Italian bread and dunk it to your heart's delight. If it can soak it up with this nice rich sauce and it tastes amazing on bread, then you are good to go, my friend. This is going to pass the bread test. Lame thumbs up, but an amazing sauce. So good that I can't resist sneaking a mini meatball sandwich, but that's another episode. Back to the sauce. So to show you how I like to serve it, I will do a portion for one or just a person with a huge appetite like myself. So I will grab a saute pan and get a little bit of our sauce in there with some sausage, some meatball, heat this up nicely. While I have this heating up, I have my pasta cooking on a separate part of the stove, so I will ladle in just a little bit of the pasta water. Really adds some nice flavor and starchiness. It'll thin it out, but don't worry about that. It'll thicken up with time. Then we'll get our pasta right into the sauce, give it a nice toss. If you're not finishing your pasta in the sauce itself, you ain't doing it right, in my opinion. This is the only way to serve pasta. It makes such a difference. Now, because I have a cheese obsession, I will grate in a little bit more cheese over top, and I like to finish it with just a drizzle of olive oil. Some people do butter, but I like just some good quality olive oil over top. Give that a nice toss, test it for seasoning if it needs anything else, a little salt, a little pepper. If not, you are good to go. Instead of just directly eating out of this, I'll pretend to be a civilized human being and put it in a bowl, garnish it with a nice pretty basil leaf, and there you have it. This is nice and thick and rich and hearty. I like some meatballs in there, a little bit of the sausage. Again, you don't have to go with meat. You could do different kind of vegetables or whatever you like, but they really just add so much flavor and really give us an incredible sauce. This is what we want. We want one dish. We don't want just sauce over pasta. This is one complete dish. They're tied together. They're married. They have so much flavor. Little sausage, little pasta in each bite. Here's a meatball. These are so tender. You wouldn't even know that they're made with turkey. They taste exactly like a traditional meatball. They soak up all that sauce. They have so much flavor. They're moist. They're cheesy. They're amazing balls. I'm going to keep going to town on this bowl, relentlessly just feeding myself, but it's such an easy way to feed the family or a crowd. I'm going to dunk my bread to my heart's delight, soaking up all that delicious sauce. So simple, so easy, so delicious. What's in the sauce, you may ask? Well, I am the sauce.